Ever get that feeling like the stuff of nightmares? Maybe it's not so far-fetched after all.
Oh, absolutely.
Today, we're diving headfirst into a world where that line, the one between myth and reality, it kind of just dissolves. We're talking about the hierarchy of demons and dark entities. And let me tell you, it gets wild.
It's a fascinating area to explore because we're not just talking about, your typical ghost stories. We're going deep with this one, unpacking the ultimate tier list of demons and dark entities.
And this list does not disappoint.
No, it really doesn't. This list runs the gamut, starting with figures you might actually recognize, maybe from childhood stories or whatever.
Right.
And it ends with, well, beings that make the word terrifying seem a bit tame.
Yeah, tame is an understatement. When I first saw this list, I have to admit, I thought, okay, I'll know most of these names right. Wrong. I was so wrong.
It's a trip.
But that's part of the fun, isn't it? Discovering just how much creepy cosmic stuff is out there.
Exactly. And the thing is, this isn't just some random ranking, This list is structured, it's a tier system, a hierarchy of sorts. We start with the least powerful entities, the ones that are more likely to go boo than actually do any real damage.
Right.
And then we ascend, slowly but surely, to beings that could, well, unravel the very fabric of reality as we know it.
So picture a tier list like you'd see for, say, video game characters, right?
Sure.
But instead of ranking their, fighting skills or whatever, we're talking about their power to terrify, to corrupt, maybe even destroy.
Exactly.
It's a whole new level of power ranking.
Oh, absolutely. And what's even more interesting is where these entities come from. We're talking ancient myths and legends, religious texts, folklore passed down through generations. I mean, we're even dipping our toes into some pretty wild scientific hypotheses in this one.
Right.
It just goes to show you that the human fascination with the unknown, it truly spans cultures and centuries.
Speaking of which, let's kick things off with the first rung on this ladder of demonic delights. We're talking about the C tier, otherwise known as the mischief makers. Now, these aren't the universe-ending horrors you might be picturing.
Oh, no.
These are the pranksters, the local legends, the things that go bump in the night and make you jump, but probably won't actually, suck your soul out.
Yeah, they're more mysterious than malicious, generally speaking. Often they embody those unexplainable things that happen in our world.
Exactly. Like those shaniks from Mexican folklore, leading people astray in the woods. It's almost as if these entities represent the, the unpredictable aspects of nature itself.
Right.
Wonder what they'd think of our whole leave no trace thing. Probably think it's hilarious to mess with hikers who are trying to follow the rules.
Probably. It is interesting, though, how often these C-tier entities, they're tied to specific cultures and beliefs,
Sure.
Take the jinn, for instance. They pop up in Arabic folklore, and they're said to be made of smokeless fire.
Smokeless fire?
Yeah, think about that for a second. A being of pure, contained energy, practically invisible, yet immensely powerful.
That's both beautiful and terrifying. Like, they could be whispering secrets right next to you,
Yeah.
and you'd never be the wiser. Okay, so we've got the C tier, the mischievous ones, more likely to give you a good scare than an existential crisis. But things are about to get a lot more intense, folks.
Oh, yeah. Buckle up.
As we climb this hierarchy, the chills, they get a little more real.
Yes, they do. We're moving on from campfire tales and venturing into something a bit more chilling.
Ooh, okay.
This is the B tier, legends with bite.
Okay, now we're talking. I love a good legend.
These aren't just stories meant to frighten children. These are warnings woven into the very fabric of a culture. They're passed down generation after generation, these cautionary tales.
All right, so give me an example. What kind of entity are we talking about here in the B tier?
Let's start with the banshee from Irish folklore.
Ooh, the banshee. Okay, I've heard of this one.
This mournful figure, often depicted as a wailing woman, is said to herald the coming of death.
Right. So is it true they can appear in different forms, or is it always the wailing woman?
That's the thing with these legends, isn't it? They evolve.
True.
The appearances might shift, but their core purpose, their message, a warning of impending doom that stays consistent.
And the wailing. It's always with the wailing.
Oh, absolutely. That haunting wail, a soul-piercing shriek, it's meant to send shivers down your spine. It's a reminder of our own mortality.
Okay, yeah, that's effectively terrifying.
It taps into our deepest fears, wouldn't you say?
Oh, 100%. The unknown, what lies beyond. It's primal. And speaking of mournful female figures tied to death, we can't forget La Llorona from Mexican folklore.
Ah, yes, La Llorona. The woman who, in her grief, drowned her children and now wanders for eternity, searching for them.
And her cries echo through the night.
Exactly. It's interesting to draw a parallel between her and the banshee.
Both tragic figures.
Both women, their grief intertwined with the supernatural.
It makes you wonder if they're meant to be feared or pitied.
Interesting, isn't it, that we can feel those two things simultaneously, fear and pity.
Yeah, for sure. But as creepy as those two are, the one that really gets under my skin in this tier, gotta be the Wendigo.
Ah.
Something about a creature born from cannibalism, especially with real-life events like the Donner Party tragedy.
Chilling.
It's just, sends shivers down my spine.
The Wendigo is a prime example of how these legends, they often tap into our darkest fears, don't they?
Oh, totally.
It's not just the act of cannibalism, as horrific as that is, it's what it represents. That breakdown of our humanity, the lengths to which we might go when faced with our own mortality.
It's like what do they call it? A slippery slope. Yeah. You start with a little white lie, and next thing you know, you're eating people to survive.
Exactly. It's a stark reminder of the darkness that resides within us all.
Okay, see, that's what I love about this whole thing. We started with a mischievous forest spirit. Harmless enough, right? And suddenly, we're staring into the abyss of human nature.
It's a wild ride.
Okay, so we've covered some ground here, right? From those mischievous spirits to legends like steeped in warning. Each one, though, a reflection of our deepest fears, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And it gets, it gets even deeper, you know.
I have a feeling it does. What's waiting for us in the A tier?
This is where things take a turn.
Hit me.
We're moving away from those, more folkloric entities and into a realm where religion and the occult, they start to intersect, where ancient scriptures, they actually warn us about entities with the power to tempt, to corrupt, to really mess you up, spiritually speaking. We're talking A tier when religion gets real.
Okay, so no more campfire stories, no more cultural legends. We're in the big leagues now.
We're in the big leagues.
What sets these A-tier entities apart from, say, the ones we were just talking about in the B tier?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's about raw power. It's different. It's their influence, you see.
Okay.
These entities, they're tied to the really big concepts: sin, temptation, the human soul. They embody what happens if you stray from the righteous path,
It's like they represent the dark side of faith itself. And speaking of temptation, I got to ask about Lilith.
Ah, Lilith. A classic example of how these entities, they can have such different meanings across cultures. In some traditions, she's a straight-up demoness. Right. A symbol of seduction, chaos, all that good stuff. But in others, well, she represents something else entirely. Feminine power, independence.
Really?
Defying those patriarchal norms.
That is so interesting. She's both feared and revered, all at the same time. It really makes you think about how we interpret these stories, doesn't it?
100%. Belief is a powerful thing.
It really is.
Oh.
Okay, so Lilith is a big one, obviously. Who else should we be wary of in the A tier?
Oh, we got a whole roster of heavy hitters here. Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Astaroth. These are names that pop up again and again in demonology. Each one linked to a specific sin or vice, just waiting to, exploit our weaknesses.
So it's not just about scaring us anymore.
Not anymore.
It's about tempting us. It's about those vulnerabilities we all have, right? Which, let's be honest, is way creepier.
Oh, way creepier. Because it feels real,
It does. It totally does. It's like, are they so prevalent in our stories and our beliefs? Because deep down, we know there's truth to them.
That's the thing about these figures, right? They endure.
They do.
They speak to our anxieties, our deepest fears, that constant pull between, our better nature and those darker impulses.
Totally. It's like a psychological thriller, but on a cosmic scale. We're talking about entities that can mess with our thoughts, our desires, even our actions.
It really makes you question free will, doesn't it?
On a whole other level. The A tier, man, it's a lot. I thought the B tier was intense. But this list, it's a roller coaster.
Hold on tight.
Because we're moving up to the S tier. And if the name is anything to go by, we're about to meet the real movers and shakers of the demonic world.
If A tier is where religion gets real, then S tier, my friend, is where it gets downright terrifying.
Bring it on.
These are the heavyweights, the top brass.
The ones in charge.
Yeah.
I'm talking Lucifer, Satan, Beelzebub. That's right.
You are in the right ballpark.
Huh?
These names, they've echoed through history. They strike fear, even awe, into the hearts of, pretty much everyone who hears them. And it's not just about their individual power. These entities, they often command legions. They're depicted as puppet masters, influencing events on a global scale.
It's like we've entered the cosmic war room, where the fate of humanity is constantly up for grabs. And on one side, we have Lucifer. Talk about an origin story. The fallen angel, cast out for defying, well, everyone. What is it about that archetype, the fallen angel? Why does it resonate so much, even today?
I think it speaks to a fear of wasted potential. The idea that even the brightest light can be extinguished. Even the best of us can be corrupted.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Lucifer is a cautionary tale about pride, about what happens when ambition goes unchecked.
And a reminder that even with absolute power, there's always someone or something gunning for your spot. Okay, Lucifer, definitely S tier, no question. Who else is joining him in this this cosmic lineup? Any other fallen angels I should be aware of?
We've got Samael, often depicted as the angel of death, harbinger of destruction, not someone you want to run into in a dark alley.
Nope, definitely not. Anyone else?
And then there's Azazel. Now, he's a fascinating one. In some traditions, he's blamed for, well, corrupting humanity.
Corrupting humanity. What did he do?
Sharing forbidden knowledge.
Forbidden knowledge, huh? That's a slippery slope if I've ever heard of one.
Tell me about it, especially now. We're on the verge of so many breakthroughs, right? Artificial intelligence, gene editing.
It's incredible.
But is there a hidden cost? A danger in all that knowledge?
Is that what Azazel represents? A cautionary tale for the information age?
It makes you think, doesn't it? Knowledge in the wrong hands? That's a terrifying thought.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely given me some food for thought.
Yeah.
So we got Lucifer, the fallen angel. We've got Azazel, the sharer of forbidden knowledge. All pretty intense. But even with these guys, I can't shake this feeling like we're still climbing. Like there's something even more, I don't know, out there.
Oh, there's more. And this is where we really start to push the boundaries, even for us.
Okay, I am ready. Hit me.
We're moving beyond the familiar now, beyond good and evil, even beyond heaven and hell.
Hey, now you're speaking my language.
Welcome to the S tier.
Lay it on me.
Entities that exist beyond good and evil.
There's not good, not evil.
Yeah.
Just existing on a whole other level.
Yeah. Imagine encountering a being like that. It challenges everything. You know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And when I think of beings that defy categorization, that make you question your sanity, H.P. Lovecraft, right?
Always a good go-to.
He's got to have a representative in this tier.
He does. In the S tier, we have Nyarlathotep.
Oh, Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos. Okay, this is a big one.
Right. Unlike some of those other cosmic horrors that, Lovecraft dreamt up, Nyarlathotep, he doesn't just lurk in the shadows.
Oh, no. This one's got an agenda.
He walks among us.
Hold on. I thought we were talking cosmic horror, not like your creepy neighbor.
Nyarlathotep often takes on a human form, a disguise.
So he's out there pulling strings, and we have no idea. Okay, that is terrifying.
He manipulates events for reasons we can only guess at.
Okay, but why, though? If you're so beyond our understanding, why even bother with humanity? Is it all just a game?
That's the question, isn't it? Are we just pawns?
Or
are there motivations so far beyond us that we're like ants trying to understand, astrophysics?
Okay, existential crisis officially engaged. So Nyarlathotep, he's out there. Who else is chilling with him in this S tier? Who else have we got?
We've got Abaddon, often depicted as an angel of the abyss.
Well, that sounds pleasant.
A figure of pure destruction. Think of it this way. If entropy had a mascot, it would be Abaddon.
So not just destruction, but like the ultimate end, the heat death of the universe kind of vibe.
Exactly.
Bleak. Okay, so creation, destruction. We need a balance.
We do. And that brings us to Baal.
Baal. Okay, fill me in.
Once worshipped as a god of fertility, of storms.
Okay.
So both creation and destruction right there.
Makes sense.
But Baal, well, his story, it takes a turn in some traditions.
Uh-oh, what kind of turn?
He gets demonized.
Of course he does.
Becomes a symbol of chaos, of indulgence.
So the good times, but like too much of a good thing.
Exactly. Excess.
The more we go down this list, the more those lines blur, don't they? Good, bad, creation, destruction. It's all connected.
All part of the same cosmic dance.
Speaking of cosmic, where do we even go from beings that are beyond good and evil? What could possibly be worse?
This is where things get really weird, even for our standards.
I am ready.
Hold on to your hats, folks. We're entering the broken tier.
Broken tier, like they broke the rules, so we had to invent a new category.
Something like that.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
These aren't just powerful entities. These are beings that exist outside of the systems we use to understand, well, everything.
Okay, so they don't bend the rules. They're playing a different game entirely.
Exactly.
And when I think of cosmic horror, of things that break the mold, I mean, we can't not talk about Cthulhu.
Oh, the OG. Lovecraft knew what he was doing with that one.
Cthulhu, the sleeper of our lives, the stuff of nightmares. What is it about that image, that concept that's so enduring?
He's the ultimate cosmic mystery.
Right.
This being that just by waking, he could drive you mad. It's the realization that for all our knowledge, for all our advancements, some things are just fundamentally beyond us.
I think it's that fear of the indifferent universe, too. Like, we're not even worth noticing, let alone destroying.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it?
To say the least. Okay, but Cthulhu can't be alone in this reality-bending tier. Who else are we dealing with?
Buckle up. We're about to get abstract. I'm talking Yog-Sothoth.
Yog-Sothoth. That name, it's like trying to pronounce a sound effect?
Right. It's a mouthful.
What does it even mean?
Well, Yog-Sothoth, it embodies something that's really hard to wrap your head around. Imagine a being that exists everywhere and everyone simultaneously.
Okay, my brain just broke a little.
Right. We're talking about a being that is existence. It's the beginning and the end, all at once.
So not just a being of immense power, but like the source code of reality.
A source code. Exactly.
This is next level stuff.
Oh, we're not done yet.
There's more.
This list, it just keeps going.
Of course it does. We're talking about cosmic horror here. It's all about pushing those boundaries. Okay, so what could be more mind-blowing, more terrifying than Yog-Sothoth?
We're entering the realm of pure abstraction now.
You did me.
The beyond broken tier.
Beyond broken, love it. Yeah, I'm assuming these are the entities that even the other entities are like, nope, not messing with that.
Basically.
So what are we talking about here? Give me the rundown.
This tier, it isn't really about individual entities anymore. It's more about concepts. Forces so fundamental, so deeply woven into the fabric of existence that we can't even begin to understand them.
Okay, so less a who and more of a what.
Exactly. Think of it like this. The void. The unknowable source of everything. The potential for reality so alien, so different from our own, that they defy comprehension.
It's like staring into a mirror and seeing static.
Yes.
That emptiness, that vastness.
Yes.
It's both awe-inspiring and terrifying, you know?
100%. It really puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, like our whole existence, it's just a blip in the grand scheme of things.
A blip.
We can't talk about the unknowable without addressing the elephant in the room. Or the cosmic horror lurking out there. The great filter.
Ah, yes. The Fermi paradox. If intelligent life is out there, where is everyone? The great filter, it's one possible answer.
Right. This idea that there are obstacles, challenges, maybe even catastrophic events, things that prevent civilizations from reaching a certain point.
It's a sobering thought for sure.
More than sobering. What if we're heading towards something we can't even see? What if we've already passed it and, well, this is it, the peak of human achievement?
It definitely makes you think about our place in the universe.
You know, despite all the doom and gloom, the cosmic horror, I find it strangely motivating. Like, if there's even a chance, a tiny one, that we can avoid those pitfalls, we have to try, right?
Absolutely. It's a call to action. We have to approach progress carefully with humility.
And a healthy dose of fear.
Oh, always.
Well, folks, that brings our deep dive into the hierarchy of demons and dark entities to an end. We started with mischievous spirits, remember them?
Harmless enough.
And ended up face to face with beings, concepts that defy description.
We've journeyed from the depths of hell to the very edge of reality itself.
It's been a wild ride. But as we wrap up, we'll leave you with this. If our list ends with the beyond broken tier, well, what comes next? What's waiting out there beyond our understanding?
Keep looking up at the stars and maybe, just maybe, you'll catch a glimpse.
Until next time, folks, sleep tight.